Firstly, we'd love to invite Dr. Vinayshil Gautam, IFTDO board member, founder director, Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, India, President Emeritus, Indian Institute of Training and Development. Welcome to the stage. Next, we'd like to also invite Mr. Ilham Nasai from the Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs of the Republic of Indonesia. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us, and please make your way up to the stage. Hello, good afternoon, welcome. Very happy to have you here with us. Next up, our panelists for today, Dr. Muhamad Hapsah, Director of Vocational Training and Apprenticeship Development from the Ministry of Manpower, the Republic of Indonesia. Selamat sore, Pak. Good afternoon. Please come and join us. Next, we'd like to welcome Mr. Renaldi, President of Indonesian Bankers Club, Chief of Economy and Digital Asset Committee, Indonesian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, President of IT Open Tech Group. All right. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, our speaker. We have a pretty long list of our panelists, so this surely would be a very interesting topic to talk about. Mr. Muhamad Fajrin Rashid, co-founder, Bukalapak. Good afternoon. And last but not least, let's welcome back to the stage Ms. Shinta Witoyo Dhanuwardoyo, President Director of Todak Nusantara Group and founder of Bubu.com. Please come and join us. And we have the honor to have our president here to be the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Dr. Sheikh Faleigh. We'll give the stage to you.
Thank you, Amin, to that. Okay. First of all, I would like to stand up for you guys because you are still here. So let's give yourself a round of applause. Love you guys, whoever is here. And just a quick announcement, we have a dinner. We're supposed to have a dinner for foreign delegates only, but for all of you here, especially the Indonesians, please stay or go shopping for a while or cafe for a while and come back here at 7:30. For those Indonesians that are here, who are still here, I would like to invite you guys for a dinner tonight. Because the dinner tonight is only for the board and the foreign delegate, but for those Indonesians here today, I would like you to call your +1, not just for yourself. For all of you here today, I would like to give a gift. Call your +1 and invite him or her to come and join you for our dinner award night tonight. Because our Wakil Governor of Jakarta, Rano Karno, by the way, Rano Karno, guys, for the IFTDO board and foreign delegates, is a veteran actor. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to act or sing, but he's going to come because he's the deputy governor of Indonesia. He's going to come. So I'm going to show a few slides of what we have done for the past 2 days also. Please, for those Indonesian, I would like you to invite your +1 to come and enjoy the dinner that we're going to have tonight together with us. Please. Yeah? Thank you. Okay, with that, let's continue our session. I'll try to make it quick. Thank you guys for coming. And thank you for your effort to come even though at this late evening. The session that we're going to have today is very important session for the nation, Indonesia, because as you know, as how fast SMEs and startups have grown over the past 10 years. But unfortunately, they die faster. I believe personally because they think that micro SME or SMEs think that they are only driven for money, for profit. They somehow forget, ignore, or don't care about training. Retraining themselves, training for their staffs, or whatsoever that comes to lifelong learning. And I believe that is the reason why, not just Indonesia, in Malaysia also happens, in other countries also happens. By the way, startups especially, the success rate is only less than 3%. You know? So, so I believe because they don't have any emphasis on learning. So before I continue with the rest of our distinguished local panelists, I would like to ask you, sir, the importance of learning for entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Dr. Faleigh. Friends in the hall and friends beyond who will listen to the digitized version of these remarks, because I believe Dr. Faleigh, in his inimitable manner, has widened the purpose of this effort beyond these 3 days to a much larger audience, which is what I think it should be. You can see that I have undergone a transformation from being the moderator to being a speaker, because Dr. Faleigh suspected that I may be utterly uncontrolled as a moderator of this panel, so he took over this responsibility. But having invited me to this role, I would begin by dedicating my remarks to the Tasweens in the audience and the Krupas in the audience, because these are the future generation of entrepreneurs. I have played my innings, and the innings is not yet over. I'm neither run out, nor do I propose to retire. I have 3 propositions to make, because having spent more than 5 decades of my career in practicing entrepreneurship, promoting entrepreneurship, setting up institutions in support of entrepreneurship, I should have something to say. But you don't have to say everything on every single occasion. I propose, as you heard me mention, 3 propositions. First is, let us get the concept of entrepreneurship beyond its stereotypes. We teach in the classroom that entrepreneurship began in the 14th, 15th century in Europe, with the word entrepreneur coming from the French word. And I don't have time to get into linguistics, because I do have a background in linguistics, but the long and short of it was the person went out of his homeland to entrepreneur, basically a sophisticated word for saying setting up an empire. The classical model is, and this is where I ran into serious problem with Peter Drucker in 1973. He was visiting Delhi for a conference, and he had just initiated his book, where he said, all countries save the West have considered resources a restraint in their growth. And my book, Enterprise and Society, dateline 1973, was just out a week before the conference. And I walked into the Imperial Hotel, and the security considerations were not so high then. I knocked onto his door, and he said, who are you? I said, Vinayshil Gautam. I have brought a book which questions your basic paradigm that all countries save the modern West have considered resources a constraint on their development. Here is a book from India which shows Indians were entrepreneurs long before West even as a concept was born. You can see it was not a very pleasant way of meeting the Peter Drucker. He nearly threw me out of the room, but before he threw me out of his room, I had presented him to my book, and I said, thank you very much. After you have read it, we'll take on this conversation. So my first submission is, we in the East, non-European countries, which also means Western Hemisphere, Latin America, and elsewhere, should have recognized our enterprise. The entire planet belongs to all of us. And I will quote just one shlok from Mahabharata, which is the story of Karna. I don't have time in view of the distinguished panel which is already here to give you the story of Mahabharata. But the story which is related to entrepreneurship is he was asked by his teacher what caste he comes from, because his teacher had said he would teach only the Brahmins. And Karna was a chariot driver's son, so proclaimed. To which the teacher said, if you are not a Brahmin, I will not teach you archery. And Karna's reply is the definition of entrepreneurship. It goes, Suto va suto putro va, yo va ko va bhavamyaham, daiva yattam kude janma, maya yattam tu paurusham. Which means, in a free translation, whether I am a chariot driver or a chariot driver's son, it is irrelevant. It was in the hand of divinity to give me birth, but it is the dint of my merits and my worth that I bring out my career. If you want a definition of entrepreneurship, ladies and gentlemen, it is here, and it is from Mahabharata, which is at least 6,000 years old. We don't have to follow Peter Drucker to say all countries, save the modern West, have considered resources a constraint on their empire. Having said that, my first proposition is made. My second proposition is, talent is nobody's monopoly. I need a reference to two wonderful people in this audience. I had initially intended to ask both of them to speak, but since the role has changed, I can't do it. The younger ones today are brighter than the older ones ever. I, as a grandfather, can say my grandchildren are smarter. One of them is in Paris today, the other is in Singapore. They have been admitted by the dint of their merit, not by the worth of their parents. And that's the younger generation which we have, a thinking generation. We need to be proud for the entrepreneurial future of this generation. Let's believe in ourselves. Let's believe in our progenies. Therefore, the point to be made is, talent is nobody's monopoly, and that is the root of entrepreneurship. Anybody who has enterprise will set up an enterprise and will flourish. It can be Patty from United States. It can be somebody from here. I could name you people here. This room is full of entrepreneurs. Therefore, believe in yourself. Do it. And my third submission is, of course you should believe in yourself. Of course you must do it. Even proposing to somebody begins with believing in yourself. But you need resources. You need institutions. You need a climate where that risk-taking is encouraged. And I think Asia and other parts of the world have a beautiful track record on it. I have myself promoted science and technology parks in India. I've had a long tradition, but each occasion cannot be a self-promo or a marketing institution. All I can say is, my third proposition has to do with set up institutions which support entrepreneurial ventures, and that is the trick. We have done it in India. Indonesia is doing it. The panelists here represent the approach to setting up entrepreneurial ventures where the system supports. You don't fight yourself to set it up. You work with yourself to set it up. That, Mr. Chairman, is our message. I hope the faith which you reposed in me, with 7.5 minutes notice to be converted from the moderator to a panelist, is somewhat justified. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. You are the guru. Marvelous. I couldn't say it better. I would like to ask Pak Ilham Nasai from Ministry of Cooperatives of Republic of Indonesia. Indonesia have more than 100 over cooperatives over these past hundreds years. Yeah, I believe there are many programs that each one of the cooperative been initiating for the past years of their establishment. Pak Ilham also a committee member of Dikopin. So For the foreign who doesn't know DCOPIN is the, can I say, chamber of, is an association of all the cooperatives in Indonesia. Yeah. So, how does DCOPIN or the Ministry of Cooperatives of Indonesia making sure that the cooperative have a lifelong learning program so that the members of the cooperative can benefit more, not just within the cooperative, can also be an entrepreneur, can also contribute to the society and the nation, as what cooperatives' objectives all about. Can I have your comment?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Faleigh. First of all, I would like to thank for the organizer for inviting me in this fruitful forum in front of you, the expertise on the human resource. Answering your question, in the cooperative, we have what we call as a motto. We establish through education, we develop through education, and also we grow with education. So human resource issue in cooperative is very important. As we understand that cooperative is the association of person, it's not the association of capital or of money, but the association of peoples who unite together through their democratic enterprises to fulfill their economic and social needs. So our umbrella organization, as moderator said, that I'm a committee member of the DCOPIN, the Indonesian Cooperative Council. We have three pillars of principal rules of the DCOPIN. First is provide education for the cooperative, not only for the member, but for the cooperatives also. We facilitate them through the market, to the financial access, etc. And the last one is as the cooperative voice to giving advocacy and policy support for the cooperative and make a lobby to the parliament, government, etc. So that's what we do in the cooperative. And yeah, as you mentioned that cooperative will grow with a long life with the entrepreneur spirit. And now Indonesia has 130,000 cooperative entities. It will be grow fast this year because our government just released about the red and flag cooperative, Koperasi Merah Putih. More than 80,000 entities will new establish next July. So maybe we estimated our cooperative numbers will grow about nearly 200,000 entities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very good effort from the Ministry of Cooperative Indonesia and DCOPIN. Thank you very much for sharing your projects and program. Next, I would like to invite Bapak Dr. Muhammad Ali Hapsah. He's a director of Vocational Training and Apprenticeship Development, Ministry of Manpower Indonesia. Yesterday, Doctor, we were honored to receive your minister, Professor Yasserli, to come and launch our conference. The hall was full, 450 people, alhamdulillah. And he has shared with us so many insights of his plans in Indonesia in terms of Ministry of Manpower. From the Vocational Training and Apprenticeship division that you are leading now, I believe there is so many programs for graduates to be more skilled before they go to the employment or or skill building or reskill building for them to be prepared more to the market. Can you share with us some of your programs and the achievement so far? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Faleigh, for the invitation, and it is a great honor for me to be here today among experts, among distinguished participants in the prestigious venue. Actually, for those might be coming from abroad, this is a venue where 20 leaders from G20 countries gathered here just 2 years ago. I think my minister, Prof. Yasserli, already mentioned a lot yesterday about what the challenges that we have at the moment here in Indonesia. I look at from his presentation that we are now in the demographic bonus. The majority of our people are young people, even 52% are Gen Z and Gen Millennial. And unfortunately, because if you look at from the education, 56% of them are graduated only from junior high school. So it's not senior high school. Junior high school and elementary school. So you can imagine they are in the workforce with the level of education. And we have also a problem that already mentioned by one of the research person just now, that we have a problem with mismatch. If you look at the unemployment rate, you look at inside work graduate, mostly contribute to the unemployment. Even they graduate from vocational high education is the one who contribute most to the unemployment rate here at the moment in Indonesia. So with this situation, there is no any way to do except how to improve their competency, and Ministry of Manpower responsible to improve the quality of the human resources after they graduated from school. We talk maybe a long life learning, so we have to learn along our life, and then we won't send them to school, of course, because they finish already the formal school. The only way is go to the training center or go to the place where they can improve their quality. So what we are doing, we have Ministry of Manpower have 21 vocational training center, which is located across Indonesia. And now I'm also acting one of the vocational training center head in Bekasi. So we provide training, which is what the industry needs. We have what we call tailor-made training. We have a traditional one. Which is regularly we provide to those who want to have certain skills, but we also have what we call tailor-made training. So enterprises, companies who would like to improve or who would like to hire someone with a specific skill, they can come to our vocational training center. If you don't have the training program there, we can sit down together and then we formulate and we design the curriculum and then we conduct the training together. So that's the way we are doing in order to make sure that our training program in line with what the industry needs. And the second one that I would like to mention also, this is a program that just was introduced by our minister. We call it school to work transition or project-based learning. It is a program, as I mentioned just now, a lot of our vocational high education who've just graduated cannot enter to the job market. So what we are doing, we send to our vocational training center, and then after that, we will put them in the companies, could be small, medium enterprises, to do apprenticeship. So in one way, they can learn, they can exercise their skill that they got already from the vocational training center. But in the second one also, they can help small, medium enterprises to adopt simple technology in order to increase their productivity. Partly, I think, I actually put in my presentation, it is an honor for me if you can share to the audience. Probably from there they can look at what the detail that we are doing already.
We can share.
In order to improve
Yeah.
our...
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We share.
Thank you.
By the way, every session from yesterday and throughout these 3 days, we will make it into an episode. Because for information, for those who are not here yesterday, we have just agreed principally in the board of IFTDO for the first time in the history of IFTDO, we are going to open IFTDO-ASEAN office in Jakarta. So we will have IFTDO-ASEAN YouTube channel. So because why I personally involved in the creation of the team of the conference and also the content and the speakers is not just for these 3 days and not just for the audience physically. It's lifelong learning. Great people are here, all of you, and all the speakers, IFTDO board from around the world. So this need to be digitally recorded so that the knowledge can be shared throughout the decade, inshallah. So every single session, yesterday, today, tomorrow, will be an episode in our IFTDO-ASEAN YouTube channel. Bismillah for that. Anyway, thank you. And we will share the slide, of course. My brother, Raine Renaldi, thank you for coming. I believe you took a whoosh from Bandung, maybe.
Yes.
Thank you for coming all the way from Bandung to Jakarta. Let's give him a round of applause. He came from very, very far to come and together with us. So Raine is the president of Indonesian Bankers Club. He's also a chief of Economy and Digital Asset Committee of Indonesia Chamber of Commerce. By the way, for the board and the foreign delegates, Indonesian Chamber of Commerce comprised of entrepreneurs, SMEs, over 90,000 members, I believe, throughout Indonesia. Mr. Raine also is an entrepreneur, businessman, and president of ID Open Tech Group, among many other companies that Raine have. I would like to ask you, sir, Bapak, in terms of if you could wear your hat as Kadin or Indonesia Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
You know that, as I mentioned just now, that most, not all, most of the SME or entrepreneurs focusing on one, that is the profit, the profitability of the company, the growth, inshallah, and so on. But not many emphasize on training. They want more for themselves, for the self-development, or even their staff. Will you agree with me, or can you share with me your thoughts on this?
Okay, so yeah, basically what you said is right. The first thing, every entrepreneur will think about the profit first, okay? But what I'm doing is most likely to encourage them to get more, okay? So basically, in this case, as you know that the number of SMEs in Indonesia is really big. Yeah, it's really big. Even, I mean, like, Cooperatives also is really big number. Just like last month, I got invitation from the one of the big Islamic banking in Dubai, and then I speak there. You know, most of them is really interested with the numbers of our SME and cooperatives here. They said this is really sexy for them to approach. That's why they are managed to how can we jump into Indonesia and help this growing bigger. I always tell them that the first, of course, Indonesia is on the process for the digital transformation, okay, and then this group also let me jump in, and then they can bring some thing that for the cooperatives, okay, so they can bridge to the let's say to digital banking, because the normally cooperative also work like a banking similar, and then also as you know that the number of SMEs really big, and then some of the big company, even I also already met with Pamaman, and then I told them that Pamaman, there is some big AI company coming to me, and they really interest to put their technology for all SMEs in Indonesia, especially. It's simply because the number of our SME is really big. Okay, and then I told I also have the incubator for the SME also. I told them that, okay, one thing to multiply your profit, okay, of course, first is digital literacy, okay. They have to upskill their skill, okay. Most of them just, if it's simply like if they are already jump into the online or something like digital things, that it will be good. And then if they can use most of the, let's say right now AI, they can use it very well, and then they can learn it fast, they can be, let's say they will have the exponential growth for me. So that's the thing why they are always think about the profit, because that's what it's meant to be. Okay.
True. But hopefully after the establishment of IFTDO-ASEAN, we could collaborate, sir, with Kadin, yeah?
Sure.
And hopefully we can create the awareness of learning importance, hopefully for the better workers of Indonesia future, inshallah. Next, I would like to call upon Muhammad Fajrin. Muhammad Fajrin Rashid. Guys, for the Indonesian, he is the co-founder of Bukalapak, if you guys don't know. So he have done a lot for the foreign delegates and for you, sir, and for the IFTDO board member. Bukalapak, 14 years ago, was it? 14 years ago was a startup. I followed the journey, of course, being an entrepreneur myself since 1994. A humble guys, have an idea of helping the micro SMEs to gain a better reach digitally. And they created a company called Bukalapak, and now is a billion-dollar company invested by multinational corporation and venture capital. And after being a millionaire, I think he left and continue his entrepreneurship among many other projects, I believe. So, being a co-founder of Bukalapak, Fajrin, I believe you have so many staff, so many employees under you. What are the programs that, if you could remember, that you developed within Bukalapak before you left? And maybe you can share some of the experience that you have being a leader in such a big corporation over many years, and maybe you can share those programs or training programs or any management programs that you have done, and why you think it's important learning and training for your employees.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I think it's been a journey in developing Bukalapak at the time from about 5 people into, when I left the company in 2020, is about 2,000 people, right? And I just worked for 1 year before starting Bukalapak, so a lot of the learnings are actually basically learning by doing, because many of the challenges that we face is something that we previously haven't thought of before, right? So for example, there is this case of when you scale the company and then there is a good person, say a marketing person, who actually help you bringing the company from small into like medium size, but at some point of time, the marketing person didn't perform anymore. Not because he was bad, but because the challenges are different. For example, when we first starting the company, at the time, maybe the marketing budget is about like 5 million rupiah per month, like $300, right? As the company grows, the marketing budget goes into 10 million rupiah, and then 50 million rupiah, and then 100 million rupiah, and then 500 million rupiah, and then 1 billion rupiah. So the challenges or the complexity when you have $300 budget per month, and then when you have budget of $300,000 per month, it's really, really different, right? So what to do with this guy then, right? He has been helping us a lot in the last few years, but now he doesn't perform. Should we just fire him, or what to do? So there is never a good or an easy challenge or easy homework when dealing with people, right? Firing people is easy, but how to do with a good person or previously good employees, but now not performing well, is much more difficult. At the end, we actually decided to put him aside, like essentially hire new people for the marketing, but then didn't fire this guy, but instead we asked him to actually set up or lead new project. So that's what we do, right? But that's just one example that it's actually never easy to deal with the human capital aspect with your company, because the company itself is actually changing a lot of times. And the second example that I want to give to the audience here is, especially when you are creating a startup company that deals with a lot of people on the ground, is that you also need to have an open mind, because in reality you don't know everything. When we deal with all the SMEs on the ground, we actually learn so much from them than them from us. So, for example, a lot of them are actually using Bukalapak as a platform for hanging out digitally. So we then, at the time, have a lot of what we call a Bukalapak community in almost maybe 20 or 30 big cities around Indonesia. So whenever I go to Bandung, whenever I go to Surabaya, whenever I go to other cities in Indonesia, what I first did is actually to meet with Bukalapak community there, to learn and to also get feedback from them. And then from that feedback, it becomes one of the things that we learn in the company, and also becomes one of the things that we train or ask the employees to train in the company. So a lot of the dynamics happen when you run a company that deals a lot with or interact a lot with the SMEs or communities, or even people in Indonesia, because the community or the economy itself is actually growing fast, and you actually as a founders also need to sort of like step up as the company goes, because hey, the company goes, you as a personal need to also give example to your people that you also need to grow, so that you can tell people in the company to also grow along with the company.
Marvelous. I think we can't leave you just like that. After this, please allow me to hang out with you more. And I would like to have IFTDO-ASEAN, frankly, working with Kadin maybe, Raine. I think that can be a very good case study, and that can be shared to Ministry of Cooperative and also the Ministry of Manpower. I believe that we should all work together and not working silo by ourselves. I believe there are many more success stories of entrepreneurs realizing that training is important, and admitting the fact that, okay, this guy not so good in this department anymore, but he's a nice guy, he's not easy to find. Loyalty is really hard. As an entrepreneur myself, loyalty is very hard to find. So you don't kick him out. You train him. Maybe his path is not that. Maybe he can find his other path somewhere else. But you can only know that after giving him a chance and retrain and train him. In fact, you might also need training yourself, you know? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I had the opportunity and the role, I could have declared you a lifetime president for the intellectual leadership which you are showing to a lot of these concepts, which I think are important. I emphasized how entrepreneurship is open to talent. What is being generated in this room and in this forum and in this country is a transformation of the entire concept of entrepreneurship, where people talk of first-generation entrepreneurs, second-generation entrepreneurs, not just startup entrepreneurs, but turnaround startup entrepreneurs, and I could give you a whole host of categories. The fact that you have now moved into it, the concept of people who have retired from a salaried life to get into a talent-oriented self-employment mode is a revolution in the field of entrepreneurship. I wish you all strength. I am sure the entire panel will support you on this, because for the first time we are finding the concept of self-employment which is based on talent, not just on resources, not just on institutions, not just on the recognition of a government failure to generate enough jobs, but harnessing talent to add value to the society and economy. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. That's why me and him been talking for almost a year to talk about how we can bring in the SME and cooperative industry into this awareness that training and retraining is very, very important. You know, Fajrin, I'm going to call you after this. I'm going to have a holiday first after this conference, but after that, I'm going to give you a call and for case study. Before I'm going to go to Bu Shinta, my dear sister, I know her since 2010. Well, she's, if you do not know Bu Shinta, you just Google Shinta Bubu, and there's so many there. And the first word is the most influential entrepreneur, woman entrepreneur in digital space. But before I'm going to ask you a question, Shinta, where she is the president director of PT Todak Nusantara Group, and also the founder and CEO of bubu.com. Todak if those who can see Todak name is like everywhere. Those who do not know the company, and I'm sorry if you Google the word Todak, you will find the meaning of Todak is a fish. But it's a short fish, a fish that have a very sharp point where that's how Todak is. When they want to do something, they really go for it, and very, very sharp. And why I also am the futurist advisor of Todak is because I find that what Fajrin mentioned just now, that he realized, hey, there's some good employees or friends even who are good in terms of loyalty, hardworking, and so on, but maybe he just don't deliver in that particular job scope that he have over the years. Todak, as much as how I have been mentoring entrepreneurs in Malaysia, Indonesia, like how Bu Shinta is, I never find a company that the owner really emphasize on that, not just the profit. He have many friends and employees that he gives so much of chance, so much of opportunities, so much of train and retrain. In fact, not many companies in Malaysia, especially SMEs, are registered as a member of the Human Resource Development Council in Malaysia, where you have to pay extra 1% levy of everybody's staff salary, you know, to contribute to the fund. So I was also shocked that, you know, they actually contribute to the HRDF fund. So come to me bringing them to Indonesia because they want to share their knowledge, they want to share the projects that they have. So I would like Bu Shinta to explain or brief or share the intention of Todak actually doing this. You know, we spend about $200,000 to organize this, bringing more than 100 over HR associations of Indonesia, bringing IFTDO for the first time to Jakarta, helping us setting up IFTDO-ASEAN and so on, and hopefully working together with every single stakeholder of this IFTDO 2025. So Bu Shinta, please share with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, we have this belief that learning is actually the backbone of SME growth. Without learning, I mean, like when you talk to startups, usually if we ask them, what do you really need? I think the first thing they would say is actually sometimes it's funding, right? But I myself been an entrepreneur for almost 3 decades. I believe one of the most important thing is not really funding. It's actually continuous learning and networking. Actually, those two are more powerful than, you know, of course having money is important, but I always believe that I grew because I continue to learn. I started my first company in 1996, a digital tech company, which at that time nobody understand what I'm doing. But I just continue learning because we can't stop learning. And I believe that's really important, and that's why we are all here. And that's why Todak is also supporting IFTDO, because we know that learning is just the backbone of everything, education, basically. So for Todak in Indonesia, we're bringing a fresh industry-driven approach to vocationals and creative education, basically. And we will tailor it to Indonesia's needs. You know, being Indonesia is a very young country, like I've mentioned earlier. 50% of our population below 30 years old. So, and we're digitally savvy, so we need to change every time. As we can see, we have relentless changes with AI. So education is a big part of this. And one of the things that we want to bring is vocational, because we think that vocational is something more practical, maybe because it's shorter. So we can do more like industry-driven approach. So we want to see which industry we need to bring to make sure that once you finish with vocational, you get a job, the right job. So there's like less mismatch. So that's what we're actually wanting to bring to Indonesia. And of course, collaboration is needed. Definitely we would love to collaborate with everybody here, everyone in the panel, everyone out there, the audience. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we can collaborate together. And mostly we probably bringing more on the creative industry, because Todak itself very strong in gaming. They have Todak Studio, which is creating a game at the moment. And we're also very strong in esports. I myself also own an esport team, so we love the gaming industry. And we believe game is, we have to, it's from a different angle, not just being the negative, the bad side, but game can be also an education platform. Gamified training, those are the things that we will be bringing through Todak Academy.
Thank you. Thank you again. It's very impressive what Todak. I myself am impressed with Todak achievement and the Todak objective of coming here, and it's very, very serious in terms of providing talent, opportunity, providing vocational, and would like to work together with every government and government bodies and corporates and association together so that we can build a very strong workforce in the future today. Thank you, everybody. I know time is running out. Some people want to go back. Some people want to change clothes for the dinner tonight. But before I end the session, will there be any question from the floor? Any questions? Or everybody want me to stop and shut up? Because time is running out. Okay. With that, of course.
Mr. President, we have had a very healthy pattern of entrepreneurial efforts throughout the two-day efforts that we have put in here. Several memorandum of associations have been signed. Several initiatives have been generated. This is the heart of entrepreneurship. I think this House should endorse your conceptual breakthrough and that of the panel here in looking at supporting entrepreneurial ventures for people who may have run out of salaried employment but not have run out of talent, enterprise, initiative, and above all, institution building enterprise. This House should state its support for this breakthrough effort which you are making. Mr. Chairman, please consider my suggestion.
Of course. In fact, we're going to have a white paper at the end of the conference to be given to many parties in terms of suggestion, working together, collaboration, and so on after this. In fact, not just the entrepreneurs, they're going to be entrepreneurs. I'm not talking about the youngsters. I'm talking about the pensioners. Most of the biggest problem in any country, Malaysia, Indonesia, or the rest of the world, is we always focus on the young. We focus on the current workers, you know. But somehow the pensioners, we say, okay, this is your pension and bye-bye. The problem with pensioners is, if you have people like Gautam, who would not give up on aggressiveness and passion in the area of betterment and learning, you will always need to have some income, you know. Of course, you can be the board of directors of companies, advisors, and so on, but I believe there should be an entrepreneurial program for the pensioners, because they have contributed their life, you know, in a company, big or small. And we like, okay, thank you. You have taken a lot of salary over 50 years. I think you should be doing well. But the thing is, no parent, I'm a parent of 7 kids. You know, they're still young, some are big. No parents want no parents want to burden their kids, even when they're old. The pension money or saving, yeah, can last you some time, but if you have a very long life to live, or you want to leave a legacy or a foundation for your kids, you need to earn more. Hence why entrepreneurship is a solution, one of the solutions at least, for the pensioners. But problem is that the pensioners have been working all their life in a company, so they're not really sure what is an entrepreneur is, you know. But with some program, some vocational program, some vocational program can also be entrepreneurial programs, because vocational education and training is all about skill building. Skill building is also skill building of entrepreneurship to them. Maybe we can give them options, franchise maybe. We have one of the father of franchise in Indonesia here. Handy, can you stand up for me? The founder of Kebab Turkey, you know, and father of franchise in Indonesia. So we're going to have a lot of projects together with people like Handy and many other franchise guru in Indonesia, working together. We will bring them. We will bring all these people and work together with all the Chamber of Commerce, with all the Ministry of Manpower, Ministry of Cooperative, and Ministry of UMKM, yeah, Ministry of SME. We're going to do a lot of things. So let's all pray and everything goes well. So with that, I'm going to end this session today, and that's the end of day 2. But please, as I mentioned to all of you, please stay for our dinner tonight at 7:30. Please bring your +1 if you can, and we can fill the crowd again for a wonderful dinner. Thank you very much.